Welcome back to part 3. We're going to continue with the bottom stem and the leaves. Again, make sure the colored pencil comes down directly so that it creates a good contact point and it doesn't create these sliding lines. Another good idea would be to use colored pencils. Since colored pencils have a thicker point, you might be able to do your pointillism a bit faster. But I feel like these smaller dots create a better pointillist image because the dots are a lot smaller. You do have to work a bit more. So if you do want to practice with crayon, that's also a good option to start with. But if you do have time, you know, you find yourself bored, especially with all the stuff that's going on and you have a lot of time on your hands, this would be a good drawing to try out. Again, try to create it as straight as possible. As you can see in the picture, it's beginning to begin looking a lot more green compared to when it was at the very beginning when it only had a couple dots of green. Again, this is more like that idea that with pointillism, as you begin to add colors, you'll see a change in hue, not only in the colors you're using, such as right here with the green and the yellow, but also in the overall quality of the painting. There's still a lot of white space that I'm going to try to remove so it's not as light of a green. Again, when you start getting tired, you could switch over and draw them manually for a little bit so your hand doesn't cramp up. You could practice with different positions with your fingers to see what feels most comfortable. So you could do this pointillism. feel like I'm a bit more confident and I like more where this leaf is at. Still a bit of white, but I'm a bit happier with where its relative green color is at. And I do kind of want it a little light. So now we're going to start moving on to this leaf, and depending on how it looks at the very end, I'm probably going to touch it up again and add more green in case I wanted to be a little bit darker. Try to do a bit more by hand. Again, as always, make sure your parents are okay with you making not only this noise, but you have a comfortable area where you're not going to create a whole bunch of holes underneath the surface. And continue blending in that green leaf. This one is starting to look a bit more like the one on the right. I feel like this area is a little bit lighter than this area right here. So we're going to try to continue making these little dots to see if it balances a bit more with the stem. I like that looks a little bit better. Then we have that one. It's a lot more like the middle stem, just based on darkness. So now that we have the left one completely done, I'm thinking we're gonna go over to the right one and retouch that one. So be careful with some of the actual color pencil falling off, because as you can see, it'll create a bit of a mark on the actual paper. So watch out if it does chip off. Brush it off to the side before you continue in that area so it doesn't create that little mark right there that just showed up as well. I'm going to go over it a little bit. Just regular drawing so we could actually put some darker lines in there. As you can see, it's getting a little bit harder to see the little dots since there are so many of them now. have enough dots. Ready to continue. Well, actually, I think we might need a little bit more around this area and this area right here towards the middle part of it. Make sure you turn your pencil so you don't stay on a flat side and you continue to make the dots, because if not, it'll turn flat and then the dots you make will be a little bit blander. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit more, like I said, over here. Actually, right here too. A lot of white. More right here. Now we're going to do a little bit of the blending. I'm going to try to do most of this by hand, just so I'm able to control exactly where the dots are going to give it a little bit more definition. So we're going to move on to the other green. I'm going to try to do this in between here. Just so it seems like the sun is shining on these areas. So we have all those little dots shading that in. Now you can kind of begin to see it. So I'm going to add a little bit more detail, and then I might go over it again with the green to further accentuate just the areas that I want. And then after that, we're going to move on to this leaf and do the same for that leaf. So here we go. gonna go over the areas that I want a little bit darker with the darker green. We have it. Then we're going to do the same with the left leaf. We're going to add a little bit more of that detail for this one. Add a little more of that detail by hand. Remember little dots. There we have the same type of effect on this leaf now. So now it's beginning to look a little bit more congruent. It looks a little bit more like a picture again. You could see the tiny dots when I zoom in. Here, let me move this forward. You could see them as you're moving in. Some aren't as clear as the rest of them because they're a lot lighter. But again, you see that effect and that congruency once you look at the picture. So this will be the end of part 2. Part 3, we'll start touching up on these petals and the middle part. And then hopefully on part 4, we'll do the outside as well. So this is the end of part 2. I'll see you guys in part 3. Take care.